You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung.
My name's Rose Blitz, formerly Rose Eisen. I was born 22nd November 1951.
My name is Barry Blitz. I was born 29th of the 3rd, 1951.
Okay, I started going to Brady at the age of about 15. I was quite a shy girl. I went to an all-girls school, and so mixing with boys socially was a bit unusual for me, although I had two brothers, one younger and one older. And when I went to Brady, it opened a whole new world to me. Out of school activities, sports, social evenings, dances.
Started going to Brady after my bar mitzvah, and I enjoyed it very much. There was plenty of things to do with football, and used to do some acting and photography and woodwork, and I met lots of nice people there, and we were friends even after we left Brady with some of them.
Well, within Brady, I was with a group of friends, girls, and Barry was with a group of boys and girls. His crowd was sort of more jokey and friendly.
Rowdy.
And rowdy. We sort of joined together as two groups, and then I befriended Barry. One activity that we used to do was going swimming in the evening, and we would meet outside Golson Street swimming pool. As I said, Barry used to lock around and was quite rowdy with his crowd of friends. They decided to take my swimming cap and fill it with water and use it as a water bomb and chuck it across the pool. Consequently, after a few times chucking it, it split.
And well, instead of buying her a new one, I said, do you want to go out for a drink or go out? And she said, yes, please.
So really that's how we sort of got together, because of what happened to my swimming cap, and the rest is history, as they say. We went on ski weekends together as a group, and we went on holiday to Italy with Brady Club, again as a group.
Riva del Garda.
Yeah, and by that time we were quite friendly and we were going out as an item.
We enjoyed ourselves at ski and at, on holiday in Italy, and that we went from Riva. We went on the bus, only a few people went, and we went and stayed in Venice for a few days. And that's where I bought the ring. The ring.
It's a gold ring
With a pearl.
with a pearl, which, being young and foolish at that time, sort of said that'd be your engagement ring.
Best thing since sliced bread.
I was quite proud of it, and I did wear it on my engagement finger. I'm not quite sure why, but I've kept it all these years.
And it still fits. Not the same fingers, but it still fits.
And it is gold, and it
Yeah.
did have a cultured pearl in, so he obviously spent quite a bit of money on it.
We bought that in Venice. It's just sort of like habit. We start going with somebody, you go out,
Yeah.
you have a nice time, you go out with friends, and friends are starting to get engaged. So you think, well, should we get engaged? You know, yeah, okay.
Well, I think in that era, people sort of met their life partners at an earlier age, and they sort of just grew up together and developed together. And when we were going out, there were several other friends who'd partnered up with someone from Brady Club. Yeah. So instead of going out singly, we went out as couples. Yeah. And it just progressed from there.
You never played the field then, did you, so much? That was what they do today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because people married earlier, I was lucky in as much as I enjoyed school. I was lucky to go to a grammar school, and ideally I should have gone on to do my A-levels and perhaps a chance of going to university, although few people went to university in that time. But because I'd met Barry and I sort of had stars in my eyes, I decided to forget the A-levels and do a secretarial course, which would get me out working quicker than going through university course. So it had a lot to do with
Your future.
my future. But I left school, I was 17, and Barry had already left school.
Yeah, just a year before. And I worked with my mother. She had a fruit shop and I worked for her for a few years until we decided to get engaged. So we got engaged, had the engagement, then we decided that we'd buy our own shop, didn't we? And we were looking around and we saved some money, some for the real engagement ring and some for a deposit on the shop, which we did do. I don't think I got down on me one knee, did I? No. Did I ask your father?
I can't remember.
I think I did.
It was just assumed because we'd been together from such a young age, and I suppose the world being different then, you weren't as adventurous, you didn't travel. I mean, I was lucky enough to go abroad when I was about 10 years old because my sister had moved to Israel and we went out there for a wedding. And then I went abroad with Brady Club, but people didn't travel very far, so there was sort of
Holidays in this country,
Yeah.
usually. I mean, I hadn't been in an aeroplane until we were married.
Yeah.
You know, it was the first time. I mean, didn't even go away on honeymoon to an exotic place like a lot of people did.
22 when I got married. We got married in 1973.
I was 23. So this year is our 50th anniversary, our golden wedding.
It's just that we grew up in the same environment. We came from similar backgrounds, not quite the same, but we came from similar backgrounds. And I suppose the things that we wanted were to sort of natural progression, get engaged, get married, get a
learning
house,
about one another.
have children.
Yeah.
Like I said, things were so different then.
You followed the trend.
Yeah.
And that's how it went.
Because lots of our friends got engaged soon after us or just before us.
Yeah.
Some friends got married just before us. Some waited a little longer and got married after us. And it was just a natural progression.
We see some friends that we used to go out with and we see them at other people's weddings and that, and they're still together, same as us.
I started going with Barry when I was 15. And I mean, you know, well, it is a lifetime, isn't it? I mean, I'm 71 now, it is a lifetime.
But nowadays there's so much on the television about doing everything else before you settle down and that, and it shows the wrong reasons for going together.
Things were simpler there, you know, more straightforward. You saved for your engagement ring, then you saved towards a deposit on a house, and then you saved up for your furniture. You know, when we moved, we had very little. We lived in a flat above the shop that we'd bought before we got married for a short time. And then when we'd saved enough for deposit, we bought a house and we couldn't furnish it.
Only the furniture we had in the shop, which was all new when we moved into the shop.
Yeah, we just added to it as we could afford it.
I don't think there's always love at first sight. You know, like you said, there's got to be worked at.
Yeah.
I mean, the television and all that has got a lot to do with it. People have got the wrong idea of love, marriage and a partnership.
It's give and take, isn't it? It's been...
Think.
Yeah, being flexible, appreciate your partner, appreciate the other person and respect them. And I think that's the basis for all of it, really. because if you have respect for each other, and yes, we all make mistakes in all different ways of life, but then you have to be forgiving as well. It's give and take.
Yeah, everybody has their ups and downs. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and it happens. We're still together after all this time. That sounds like a song. And, you know, we enjoy it. We've got the children, the grandchildren, so we get lots of pleasure from them.
Because there was a mix of people, most of the children there were Jewish, but they came from different backgrounds. And I think coming from the East End, a lot of them have come from immigrant families. And life was tough, you know. Parents worked, usually both parents worked hard to put food on the table, to clothe you, and they're trying to build themselves up to a certain level coming from an immigrant background.
And living in the East End like we did, we didn't own, our parents didn't own the houses. We rented property. Being at Brady, you knew everybody was near enough on the same level. So you knew you didn't have to show off with what you've got, and they didn't show off with what they've got. Not like nowadays, you've got to have the right trainers, the right jeans, the right top. Whereas then you wore what you liked. And it wasn't always the labels. Whereas, well, the labels weren't there so much then. It's a new thing with labels now. It was M&S. Or Woolies. We've got 3 lovely grandchildren, 2 children and 3 lovely grandchildren. And they're the same. They show lots of respect. I mean, they go to a Jewish school. They belong to the synagogue. So it just carries on. You know, they've learnt from us, our children, and I hope that their children learn from them.
It's more of a traditional family
Yeah.
values. Yeah, two sort of family values are very important.
As Topol said, tradition.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual.